We've got a new face to the table, so we've got Noah, we've got Janet, we've got Ellen, we've got McLean, we've got John. What's your name?
Lydia.
Lydia, welcome. So this is Talkaoke, it's a free-form talk show. We're kind of been invited here by Southwark Council just to find out what people think about just, life, living in this area, and just whatever people are concerned about. And it's kind of the way that we go is we just talk about whatever comes up. And right now there's been a couple of people that are homeless on the table, so we're talking about this question of homelessness. Is the government doing enough? Is the local government doing enough? What are the issues of homelessness? But then I guess now we're talking about inequality and poverty. How do we address those questions, really? Is there a way to do it in the world that we live in now? So that's where we are right now. I don't know if you've got any views on that. I don't know if you've been listening.
I think that's too...
It's too big and broad.
Too big and broad a topic. Yeah. Back onto the homelessness topic.
Yeah.
I do think that in the UK there are lots of grey areas. There are lots of lines that you can fall between. So yes, if you have, say for example, the right, the legal rights to certain things, or if you're in a certain wage bracket, then there's this help for you, or there's that help. But then there's lots of grey areas that people fall between.
Yeah.
That then means they just become nomads, I suppose, in the world.
So people fall between the gaps.
Between the gaps.
I mean, why do you think that is? What's going on that's happening?
Because it's all about fitting certain boxes, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you don't tick this box, then we're going to find another box for you. But life doesn't always fit into
it's not
a box.
That quite as kind of digital as that, let's say.
Yeah. Become, haven't we? The people have become boxes, ticking boxes. We're not about people anymore.
Yeah, we're not seeing the people. Yeah.
Individuals, and we were saying earlier, that the council politicians in general, let's say, and the council seem to have lost the value of people. And it's not about people anymore. It's about profit, money, and everything else.
They have the remote control.
Yeah.
If they want you channel 1. You have to go channel 1.
Okay, well let's just spread this out to this side of the table. What do people think? Are we not seeing people as people?
I think it's the government that gonna change in the homeless people special about that. I think it's David Cameron is gonna give us again the government and the parliament. He gonna change the 100% the future in England. For the mess, because that guy, he changed all the history in England. He helped for the many people.
Who's this?
David Cameron.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's the best premier we have.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my thing.
Okay.
If he stay more, if he be changing the more for the good for the future about the homeless people, about the.
What do people think? David Cameron? Any views on David Cameron? McLean is saying that David Cameron is the best premier that we've had.
No, he's not.
No?
He's the worst.
Yeah.
No, David Cameron, no.
Yeah.
It's worse.
People.
There's worse than him.
Yeah. Who would you say is the worst? Yeah.
Will be the best prime minister.
Right.
Even me, I reject her.
Right. Okay. We've got a new face to the table. What's your name?
Lisa.
Lisa. We got Lydia. We got John. We got McLean. We got Ellen. What's your name?
I'm just part of the public, yeah.
Mr. Public.
Mr. Public.
And we've got Janet, and we've got Noah and Mikey. And I guess we're talking about politics. And Noah was a bit reluctant to go into it. Lydia, you're also like, whoa, this is too big a subject. But you've mentioned David Cameron. And
I'm one of those people who I don't vote.
Yeah.
I don't believe in politics.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that it's kind of redundant. It's not the thing to do. You should at least stand for something.
Yeah.
I think that politicians all stand for the same thing, which is self and their own agenda, and it's futile to vote for anybody because they've all got the same agenda at the end of the day, just different faces and names to their agenda.
Yeah, just because Lisa's new, I just want to say, have you got a view on this, or?
Sorry, do I have a view on
voting? Do you agree with Lydia that whoever you kind of vote for, they're all going to be the same?
I won't vote. I won't even register to vote. And it's not because I'm ignorant. It's basically I don't see what they're actually doing for people in the community, and they don't actually take the time to listen to people. Or if they do, they listen to a certain type of people, and that's it.
Right. Okay. What type of people do they listen to?
whoever they choose to at that time.
Okay.
To sort with their numbers.
Okay. Are you off?
I
No.
will never vote for any politician
Really?
because he said they are all thieves.
Okay. Are all politicians Mr. Public?
Well, most politicians are not honest. You know, they're doing it for themselves. But I don't really want to talk about that. I heard you talking about the housing.
Yeah.
And for me, the big question is, I live here in Southwark.
Yeah.
And like the Haygate estate.
Yeah.
Most of that has been sold off to a private organisation. How come the council can sell off council property to private companies so that they can build housing, and then we're told that there's no housing for local people?
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Okay.
So that's one aspect of why people don't really trust politicians and don't want to vote for politicians.
Yeah.
Especially in this area.
So actually, these two subjects are actually linked.
No, of course they're linked. In this area, so much property has been sold off. If you look around, you're going to see tower blocks, but they're all private.
Yeah.
There are no council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
there are no affordable rents.
Yeah.
There are no affordable homes. You know, so it's all a ploy. It's all a ploy to get a certain genre of people out of London. And a certain genre of people in London.
Right. Okay.
And the ploy is working. So that's what I wanted to say.
No, I mean, okay. Well, I mean, let's just.
They are, these are,
No. I mean, stay involved in that.
Stuff to say. I gotta go now.
You can't just drop that and then you can't.
You drop the bomb. And
you
then,
can't just drop that bomb and then just leave. Like what?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
all these tower buildings have been created. They are not meant for me and you.
Right.
They are meant for people with economic upper hand.
Right.
You, your housing is on the streets.
Yeah.
That is, you just take your sleeping bag. That is your house.
Right. Okay. So do you agree with this idea that, well, let's call him Mr. Public, said that that's why people have got no faith in politicians because they feel dispossessed?
Of course.
It's going back to what you said earlier, Mickey, when you said that most of the councillors you spoke to say they care and they want to improve the quality of life for people, but then have a look. How have they improved the quality of life? They've kicked people off the A-gate, kicking people off all the social housing. So what they're saying, they're not backing up with action, and that is why we don't trust them.
Yeah.
Anything they say, we know they're lying.
Right. Okay.
I'm quite interested about, you said you don't vote, right, and you're not registered to vote, but like, do you think that you make a contribution to where you live? You know, even though you don't vote, are you like active in any other way? Are you active in your community?
What, are you saying that voting is a kind of contribution to where you live?
Well, it's just that I know that some people, they often say that they're not like political, but then when you talk to them and hear all the things that they're doing in their communities, you realise, oh, actually, they are political and they are contributing.
Contribution is a kind of politics in itself?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like I think whatever you do is political anyway. Even just waking up and switching on your tap to brush your teeth, I think it's a political act.
Okay.
Question I'd like to ask, and would you view somebody living up to their values? If somebody has certain values, because we've all got our own values. If we were to get into it, we probably share values. Would you say that politics is simply based on values and living up to your values?
I mean, would you? I'm going to turn that around to you. Would you say that?
I don't think it's political to live up to your values. I think we were made with that within us. That yes, there are going to be certain things that you hold as valuable to you as an individual. For me, I do not have any form of disrespect towards politicians. I wouldn't join any party that tries to get people out of their political seats or standing. However, I do not hold any faith in politics whatsoever, because if you look through the years, there's never been anybody that's truly done something that has made a valuable difference. I have strong values and I try to live up to my values, which sometimes some political parties may touch on them but not truly live up to.
Okay. Lisa, were you going to say something?
Yes.
I'm going to say...
That's the whole point. I mean,
Yeah.
One politician could stand for something, but if the rest of the party doesn't, their hands are tied. There's nothing much they can do. So at the end of the day, they end up just doing what they're told to do, even if they mean well. So, you know, if you're going to back somebody, for instance, you might back somebody you really like in the beginning. Within about a year or so, he's changed his mind.
Yeah.
So how can I follow that if you don't stick to what you know?
It's not just about politicians, is it? I mean, most parties as a party have values, but they don't even live up to their own values of the party. Like the Labour Party, for instance, you know, would have certain values and social conscience, what we said, but they're not living up to that in some way.
Okay.
They might be doing in the future.
What about this question that Lydia made about living up to your values? How do you see that? I mean, you put the question to Ellen, but I want to put it across to everybody because I think it's a good question.
What do you mean?
I mean, you were saying kind of like that your view of life is you've got values that you try to live to and try to push that out into the world. Is that fair to say?
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, political parties are supposedly based on having certain values, but I may not share their values with them.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I take away from my community. It doesn't mean that I stand on the street corner trying to push my values on anybody. But in living up to the values that I hold, I'd hope to think it's contributing to my community.
So your contribution is having values and living by the values, I think is the point. Hang on a sec, no, because we've got a new face to the table. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Helen. Hi.
Helen. We've got Janet, we've got Noah, we've got Lisa, Lydia, John, and McLean and Ellen. I'm Mikey. I don't know if you're new to the table, so you take precedence, but have you been listening? Or do you just want to hang on in there and just wait?
I'll hang on in there for a bit if you don't mind.
So,
something you want to say?
So what I'm trying to address to this lady's question, let her tell me where she can find a politician now without election time.
Yeah. Where are the politicians? Is that what you're...
Then, tell him. Where are the politicians?
I don't know. That's a good question. I wouldn't know. I
said that earlier. You know, apart from their casework surgeries that they do, some don't even do that. Where are they? We don't see the politicians.
Okay.
Don't see them. They're on Twitter. You can get them on Twitter.
Right.
If you're on Twitter, but if you email them, they ignore you.
So the answer is on Twitter, according to...
Are you on Twitter?
Even
respond to your tweets?
No. Well, I've stopped tweeting to them.
Okay. Helen?
The way I see it now, I think that a lot of people in the public sector, that is to talk about the politicians, are looking to hear from groups of people who represent a certain section of people.
Right.
So like if you get together with your neighbours and you form an interest group about your neighbourhood or about your school or something that interests you, they will listen to you then.
So they're interested in larger groups, and I think that sort of ties in what you were saying
they don't have time for individuals.
Yeah.
People who join those groups, for instance. So, you know, they encourage younger people to join the groups, but mostly it's usually a certain type of people that's there if you go there. Yeah. So for me, it's not appealing to me.
Yeah, okay, so you're not interested in the groups that get formed?
I would be, but I don't see anything that's faced at me.
Okay.
Not at all.
You've not said much, John. Have you got any views on this?
Well, I think Helen made a very good point about politicians do like to... It's easier for them to deal with a group of people, an organisation or something.
Why do you think that is?
It's just you've got more weight behind what you say if you can call yourself I'm the Residents Association of such and such or whatever. But it's an issue, isn't it? That the people who join those organisations tend to be a certain kind of person and might not be you. I don't know.
I'm not going to be judgmental, but sometimes it's usually the older people, the people who's quite nosy. Yeah. And in my area, that's how it is. And unfortunately, it shouldn't be like that because at the end of the day, you want to say something and fight for something and stand up for something, but you've got to have different people. And if you have different people, make it be important and encouraging everyone to have a voice.
Yeah. Come and get involved in this. Come on, have a say. Yeah, go on.
I feel that sometimes, you have to put yourself in a position where your voice can be heard. Because I'm part of my residents association.
Are you one of those people, so to speak?
I'm chair of my local community centre steering group organisation. I'm part of my LMF. And the thing is, what I've realised is that, yes, when I first went there, I didn't understand what they were talking about. There was a lot of what do you call it, like isms and things that I just didn't get. I didn't understand how things worked. I didn't get it, but then, and I think sometimes that kind of scares people. When you go to one of these meetings, they're all older people, they're all in suits, and they're from the council. It feels really serious, and if you're afraid to sort of like speak up in a way, but at the end of the you know that you have things to contribute, and it's just, I just think that like, if I didn't go to these meetings, and if my neighbours didn't go, then I wouldn't have got the things that I have today. You know, I wouldn't have been able to sort of move out from home.
Achieve, what things did you achieve?
Well, I was living at home. My estate got redeveloped, and residents fought for affordable, enough affordable social housing for residents, and the right for residents to return back to the new developed estate, but also for adult children be able to get their own flats. Right. If we didn't have like a strong residents association, if I wasn't going to the meetings and other people, we wouldn't have got those things, you know? So sometimes you may not be the most articulate person. Right. Doesn't matter. Go, show up.
So you achieved getting your own council flat by fighting for this right.
Because basically, where I live, the resident association actually voted to have a certain type of work done, and for different metropolitans to come in instead of Lambeth Council. And what they done was we all voted for them, and what they done was actually went against everything they said. Right. So we did actually back it, and we did stand there and spoke about it, and they actually done nothing that we asked. Right. And they made it worse. Their rents rise all the time, and there's nothing for the community apart from stuff that looks pretty on the outside. That's fake.
Yeah, hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. No.
Just before Lisa's question, I wanted to ask Ellen, what was that one defining moment or factor that made you say, do you know what, I'm actually going to stand up and go and join in and speak for people? What was it that was my interest? And sorry, not disregarding your point.
I think it was just like a gradual thing, because my mum used to go, growing up as a child, my mum would go, and then like I knew that the estate was going to be redeveloped, and I was getting to a certain age where I kind of felt like I'm interested in getting my own flat eventually. So I just started to go. Then eventually I contributed where I could contribute, and and then it was just like a gradual build.
So you got sucked, it wasn't one moment you got sucked into it.
It was just a gradual build where you take on more responsibilities and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's a gradual thing.
So from what you've just said, then I suppose if you've already been, I don't know if conditioned is a word that may be too strong, but because your family were already involved in it. So but for somebody who's coming from a background whose parents may not have anything at all to do that, it would be a much bigger step, a much wider jump to take than somebody who's involved. But sorry, so with Lisa's point, it's she's had a bad experience, and in my case, looking on, I've never gotten involved. I've been invited to get involved, but it's always bad that I see, unfortunately.
Yeah, so when you've got that bad experience, it puts you off. Noah, you had a point as well, didn't you?
Yeah, what I want to say, all politicians should be executed because they are liars. They lie.
Who's going to do run the country?
Yeah, but you have to vote for the right politician. Right. For example, even though Tony Blair has made his mistake, but he was the right politician, and Gordon Brown, the right politician. Tony Blair, he has made his mistake. When he started, he restructured the country's economy and the global economy. Okay. Between him and Gordon Brown and this guy who died in because we're following the story. Yeah. This guy, they call him Robin Crook instead of Robin Cook.
Robin Cook. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah.
I mean, I was just going to say that how I became really involved was through art projects. Like, that's a really great way. However, my council, the borough council is Hackney Council. However, my estate was taken over by a housing association, L&Q. And through doing that, I think L&Q were definitely so much better than Hackney Council. And maybe there's something where housing associations want to kind of please values you a bit more, so they're willing to sort of do things to help you out a little bit more. Because I reckon that if we were still owned by Hackney Council, we would not have got what we got. So I think there's a bit of a difference there.
Okay, so in a way you're saying the Housing Association did a better job than
Definitely
the council.
than the
But
council.
this is in Hackney, this is not Southwark. I say to the... so where do we want to go with this conversation?
Can I just go back to a very good point about inequality? You said something about inequality?
Yeah.
No, you did as well. You said about inequality.
Yeah.
And what does Southwark Council? What do we think about Southwark Council?
Yeah.
How are they tackling inequality with all this? They're actually adding to inequality, aren't they?
Okay,
They're
we
making us more
started.
unequal.
We started actually this whole thread of conversation talking about inequality, and then I think McLean mentioned David Cameron, but yeah, but yeah.
Let me tell them, we are coming here before 3 years.
Yeah.
David Cameron and the one person, the Prime Minister, we open for the Euro people. They're coming now.
Yeah.
For the Euro people. Most of the Euro people is not coming here. The London is not gonna grow high.
Right.
For work.
So David Cameron was encouraging the Europeans to come.
Listen, if talking about for the corruption, if in my country the government is fighting inside who can take the power.
Yeah.
We do it. I'm younger. I'm live my country. We young. I come in here because in here. This
So you're saying that actually the Bulgarian government is more corrupt?
Of course. He's fighting inside in each other. Who can take the power? Who can take the land? Who can, have nothing communication, nothing for the younger people. Every younger people we learn for the Bulgarian. You go USA, you go Germany.
So the young people are all leaving Bulgaria
because not have nothing.
Because the government's so corrupt. So. I just want to, because we've got a new face to the table, let me quickly explain. So we've got John, we've got McLean, we've got Ellen, we've got Helen, we have got Janet and Noah and Lisa and Lydia, and what's your name?
Kieran.
And what we're talking, my name's Mikey, what we're talking about is, we're talking about the government. Lydia and Lisa both don't get involved in politics at all, and they see it, and Noah as well, in fact. No, they don't vote, or you don't. I mean, it's kind.
Me, I don't vote.
Yeah, Noah doesn't vote. Ellen, on the other hand, is the chair of a local tenants association, and she said that by being involved in politics, she's managed to get her own council flat. What's that?
It's people like her that should get involved in politics. We need people like her that get involved in politics. If all the people like that, good principled people with values, it's because they're staying out of politics that we end up with a rotten lot.
All right. Okay. What's that?
I agree.
So you think that people should be getting involved more? Are you involved in politics?
Good people should be involved in politics and chase out the bad people.
A lot of them mean good in the first place, but because the system has a set way, no matter if you're good at heart or if you've got good values, it's going to always change because you can't go past them.
So they start off good, but the system turns them bad.
Because the rest of them, they have to answer to somebody, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like a deer in a forest of lions. You could live in the forest with the lions. Yes, it is very possible, but they will devour you eventually.
Okay, so it's a system that changes people from good to bad. Let me just hang on a sec. No, let me just bring Kieran in on this.
I was just going to say, but it's devouring you anyway, whether you're in it or out it, because you're subject to it. So you might as well get involved because you're getting council tax, bedroom tax put on you, or whatever your situation is. You're being affected. So why not shout about it?
What I can do with myself and my strength to do something for my community, but they will try to stop that because I'm not for them. And I always try to do something for my community with what I do.
Okay, I mean, is that the right way to look at things? Are we deers to be devoured by the lions?
I have applied for a house.
Yeah.
20 years ago. After 10 years, then the council wrote a letter to me if I'm still interested.
Yeah.
Then 23 years later, again, they said, no, I am not eligible because I'm not pregnant.
Right. Okay. Yeah. What's that?
I don't believe that one. If we can give the pregnant, they can give it a house.
I just want to say to anyone that's interested, come and get involved in this. We're talking about what's our relationship to the politicians. Should we be involved? Go on, McLean.
Sorry about that. Just I'm too young about that meeting in here. You know what I mean? So basically, I don't leave the government the government behind him in here. I live my way.
Yeah.
The Chinese people say like that. Oh, every day they put this in my mind. The Chinese people say that yesterday is history, tomorrow is future, today is gift. Every single day is new gift.
Right.
So every single for me is new gift. If I live in the government, every people inside is liar.
Okay.
What can I do in the future?
So in a way, it's kind of down to you to actually do your thing.
The people in here, we have some issue about everything, so I'm not gonna give it to that because he have the communication, the system we do it, what you want to do. So now nothing gonna change in the
hang on a sec, let me just, hang on a sec, sorry McLean. Is it worth getting involved in politics in the government? Are they all out for themselves? Does it really matter? That's what we're talking about here. Is it worth just getting on with your life? Well, come and get involved in this. We've got Janet, we've got Noah, we've got Lisa.
Really and truly, the way I look on it, they need a
sit down.
No, I can't sit.
Yeah.
They need a total
the mic
reshuffle.
then, in that case.
Total reshuffle.
Yeah.
Somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because the total government is totally corrupted. I don't care what anyone says.
Do you get involved in politics? Do you vote?
Once upon a time, I was going to get involved in politics, but due to situations, etc., I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
Everything, the whole system is corrupted. The streets are corrupted.
Yeah.
Because the policing, it's up to shambles.
So you've got not very much faith in any of the system. Come and sit down, come and get involved in it.
Back in the days when I was a youth, you should be safe on the street. Nowadays, you're not safe at all.
Okay.
We used to have a general public police that used to intervene. If a kid got in trouble, they knew where they lived, took them home, you got to flick around the hero, and that was the end of it. But now on the streets, it's madness.
Okay. Madness on the streets.
I think it was always madness on the streets. I remember getting mugged about 10 times in the 80s and knives held to my throat. So I don't think we should paint a rosy picture of the past, really.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
there was a place called... I just think that that's just a typical thing that someone of his age would say about the youth of today.
Right, okay.
You know, and I'm sure when he was young, the older people are saying the same thing. In my day, it was more violent.
I think so. You disagree?
You know, it's the same thing. However, I would say that there is cuts to the police service, right? So.
Okay. Okay, let me just.
I didn't get that he was criticising the youth. I got that he was criticising the police, the system, the whole. The country's come to a crisis.
I mean, I do get this feeling around the table.
There's a crisis going on, and people don't realise it. I didn't think he was blaming the youth. I mean, obviously, they have to share some.
I mean, I do get this feeling that there's a general.
The whole system is corrupt.
Yeah.
It's going back to what I originally said. I just don't feel that government, police, anybody gives an absolute toss about the people.
Okay.
That's it.
The main problem is the courts. They have to remove the courts and avoid Brexit.
Okay.
Avoid Brexit and remove the courts.
Okay, let's just move this on.
All they care is about dividing each other, and they do that in any way they can. It doesn't matter whether it's housing, whether it's this, whether it's that. In any way they can, they put different people against each other.
Okay.
And that's what they're trying to do. And that's exactly what they're doing with housing, with all these new things, with everything. Exactly what they're doing. Let's look around.
Is it? I mean, I get the feeling there's a general feeling that.
There's a divide.
Yeah.
You can see the thing.
No, I think everyone's pretty.
I think the division is all for the addition of economic growth. It's no matter which, whether you look at the UK, whether you look at the USA, no matter which country, the whole world that it's all about economic growth, and that is it.
Maybe this is a good time just to sorry, Kieran, just to have a look at some of these images that.
Stop the costs and stop Brexit.
Look, nobody agrees with the cuts, nobody, but we have to stop blaming these cuts, because what it does is, by saying all that, it just justifies incompetence and what's going on. It just justifies it all. Jobs, and they should do it.
Yeah, so we just put the brakes on this for a second, because I think McLean's going. Let's get a final thought from him, and then I want to look at some of the visuals that Rick's been beavering away on.
I'm just happy. I'll be freedom. That's more important.
You're
for
happy
me.
to be free?
Freedom, it can be the man, proper man, he can live the life what you want to be the building.
Do people not appreciate that?
Doesn't matter, it can be pressuring the government, doesn't matter, it can be pressuring the every people. So if you choice, it can be good man, it can be good man forever. If you choice to be bad man, it can be bad man.
Okay.
That's the way I live.
So it's this freedom that allows you to choose to be good or bad.
I'm freedom. I'm working. I'm happy working. I want to make him family. I want to make him happy. Doesn't matter if the government is not gonna change that. I don't care about that.
Okay.
Because we stand at this table, nothing gonna change in the government.
Okay. Are we going to be able to change the government here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
If the government is looking for about us interview, we're having here the meeting.
Yeah.
The people around the people in the Europe, in the English, in the African, every nation in the people. If you think take little bit serious about the thing we have of the vote the people, that's it gonna be happy for him. That's it gonna building England gonna be more power in the. He's the power in England. The history is the power. Why can I be more and give us a good life for the people?
Yeah.
And make it happy. No, don't help about the homeless people. No help about the pollution. About the happy for the people.
Use
that's
that power.
More important.
Okay.
That's more important to be
okay.
happy.
Sorry, Kieran. I'm just gonna let's just cut. We got a new face. Say what's your name quickly?
Steve.
Steve, we got Janet, we got Noah, we got Lisa, Lydia, Kieran, John, Ellen, and Helen, and I'm Mikey. Noah, let me just have a look at some of these images because Rick has been busy beavering away at this. Let's just maybe go for the last few. So do we trust politicians? I don't know. You'll have to ask.
John, put our local politicians on.
Are people falling through the cracks?
Local ones on. Do we trust our local ones? Put the local ones. Nonsense, nothing to do with Southwark, so put the local ones.
Okay, put the local ones on.
Southwark talk, not the government.
Southwark, less housing, I suppose this is. Homelessness, okay, that's what it is, yeah. Yeah. You've got to have faith in the politics. So where is that faith? Where do we direct the faith, I guess, is the next question. This is... Who's that? Is that the local?
John, looking out the window.
Yeah, that's a local. That's a local politician.
He's looking out the window.
Local politician coming to Elephant and Castle. This is advertising youth clubs more. Advertising what's going on for young people. Do you care about where you live? And that's where we are, I guess, right now. Your local business. Love your local business. And keep it small. Thank you, Rick. Rick's been busy trying to visualise some of these things. So, where were we? We were talking about this. I mean, this is a question of faith.
Spin and getting on with the truth.
Okay, speak the truth. Okay.
What I was going to say about the not voting thing is that I think that the government, they want people like yourselves to not vote.
Yeah.
Like they sort of
not to vote.
They speak in a language that like most people find it hard to sort of really get, and I think that I think it's intentional, and they're happy that like large section of the public don't vote. But if we voted, I reckon that we'd get a lot more things than what we get now.
Okay.
That's why.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. The reason why I don't agree with that is because they're always putting up campaigns for younger people and people in this area to vote and appealing it to us, getting all different people to say vote. So it's not because I don't understand. I fully understand, and the thing is because I do understand. And it might sound ignorant, but until I
Why
see
are they
change.
putting those posters up?
Which posters? What, to vote?
Asking people to vote.
Because they need our help. They need our help to make it to finalise what they're doing. They need our help.
Right.
So if we all back them and go, oh, they're going to do something for us, then we can turn around and blame the people.
Okay, so so they've got a backing then, really.
Yeah, they got a backing. They got a backing to do what they want then.
Okay.
And then they could say, oh no, because you never voted, it's your fault.
Kieran, you were going to say something. I took the mic away from you.
I was just going to say there's going to be an election in a few years' time, and it seems to me that there is finally a party that is going to represent basically the poor, and I can't see why someone wouldn't vote for Labour in the next election, because Labour is a little chance, because it's actually different for a change. It's actually saying we are going to try and change things, and I just think voting's your only chance.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a Labour council at the moment of gentrifying the area, so how are they going to make a change?
Yeah, but that's
I mean, fair enough, I get your point about Labour, but come off it. How can you say that around this area?
Because I think the Labour Party for a long time was taken over by the very middle ground. Now we've got quite a left-wing Labour Party. Southwark isn't as left-wing as Corbyn, I can tell you that. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, let me just spread this out to her. Hang on a sec, Janet. Yeah.
I think there's at the moment several factions within the Labour Party, and I think that at a senior level you had a bit of a crisis back in the summer when Jeremy Corbyn was finally re-elected as the leader because of that faction that represents us electing him. But that isn't to say that in some local councils and at some local government level there still isn't a remainder of the people who would not have voted for Corbyn, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, where do you stand on this?
But I'm fully signed up with the gentleman opposite you. I forget his name already. Kieran. I think that voting for a more progressive party. I won't say which one at the moment. Can only be good. It's up to us really to consider all the options
what about Lisa's point?
Ignore the manifesto, put the manifesto to one side, and look at what.
What about Lisa's point that the posters and all this encouragement to vote is just so the politicians can get backing to make the decisions they always wanted to make?
Well, there's pros. I think that if you are organised at your neighbourhood level, you can push a change through for your neighbourhood and make that work for you.
Right.
I still think so.
Okay.
Going back to what Lisa
Hang on a sec, Janet, I'll come to you.
I think there's a perfect situation going on now in Elephant and Castle where they're about to make a decision about this shopping centre being knocked down. The local business has been... but getting involved in that, then you can see whether you've had any effect or not, because at the moment a lot of things haven't been decided.
People that are involved in that, what's Labour Southwark Council doing about it? They're pushing developers to do it all and help.
Have you been involved in it?
I am quite involved in it. I'm a lead campaigner in the shopping centre. Okay, so I'm not going to.
I mean, do you want to get more people to get involved in that? Is it?
Yeah, and I've talked to a few people after and took their details, so people can get involved in that. I'm happy to tell them how, not on camera. I will do it after. Fair enough. But just going back to what is it, Lisa? Just going back to what Lisa said about the politicians need, our vote because they need our help. Fair enough. But then when we need their help, where are they? They want our help. You see them, they want votes and votes and votes and votes. And then I'm not going to, then they backstab us and they go against everything they've said. And they don't help, then they help themselves. So, but I do still think, Lisa, your vote is important. I will always be an advocate, especially with the suffragettes, they chain themselves to the railings to get women to vote. So I do think it is important for women to vote. And it's the only way you can change. If you don't have to vote for anybody, you just vote anything or whatever. But it is important to vote, I think.
Okay, let's let Lisa come back on this.
It could have been important to vote, and I agree with you saying, because we need to have a chance to have a voice. And so many people have fighted to make their point and have a voice, but at the same time, all those people that died and whatever to have a voice, or the people that actually fight for it, where are they now? End of the day, no one listened to what they actually wanted and never got their point across. They got to vote and that was it.
Yeah.
That's all they got to do. They're doing the same thing.
Was it a little bit of a waste to have all that campaign to vote, do you think, if they didn't get what they wanted?
No, I mean, you've got to have your voice and you've got to stand up for something. But what are you standing up for? Are you standing up for change, or are you standing up for the same thing?
Okay.
That they've always that they're feeding you and telling you that you need.
Okay, hang on a sec, let me just bring Ellen in.
I was just going to say that, I think that we have a lot of power on a local level, and I think it's so important for people like yourselves to sort of get involved with politics. I mean, I went on a Black History Walk for Black History Month in Hackney, and I didn't realise that there was a time where, Black people couldn't get council housing in Hackney, and if it wasn't for those local Black MPs to sort of do an audit or whatever and write a paper and do a study to find out to highlight this racism. I have the book actually, and it's just gosh, imagine those MPs weren't politically active. Maybe today I wouldn't have the right to have a council house. Simple stuff like that you can really achieve if you become politically active. So I think things can happen on a local level.
Yeah. The only reason why they've actually allowed that is because they had to in the end. Because, you know, us as people that are black and with different countries, at the end of the day, we've helped build this country. So at the end of the day, they had to help us. They had to say, oh, okay, now you can have housing, you can have this and that. So I don't think that, like, they were saying, okay, here you go. So now we feel obligated. Do you know what I mean? Or a poor man or a black man, whoever feels obligated. Why should we feel obligated? Because we've done everything, whether you're poor, whether you're black, whoever you are, you've done everything. The community's done stuff to help the community, and they still fight everybody down who's not for them.
But I think that in order for things to still keep happening, you've always got to keep raising your voice, whatever your thing is. I mean, as a black community, you've got to keep raising your voice, and you've got to keep saying we're not happy with it. I mean, and as a poor community, I don't even think we should be divided along black and white. I think it's working class, poor people together. No. But I mean, I didn't want to get. I just think a lot of people are suffering, but you've got to keep your voice heard, and whatever way there is, you've got to get involved, because otherwise you're silent, I think.
We do. You know, it is important, I agree with you. But we started earlier in the debate today that they're just not listening. Politicians, no one's listening.
Janet,
so if they don't listen, what do we do?
I just want to say to anyone that happens to be listening here, you may not be politicians, we still want you to get involved in this conversation. Is it worth getting involved in politics? There's a lot of people that give us a final thought.
I will never vote for a politician. I don't like politicians because they are crooks. They are thieves.
Okay.
They survive at the expense of us.
Okay.
The ordinary people.
Yeah. Like I said, Ellen, I'll come to you. Yeah.
Everybody's giving a plausible argument as to why somebody like myself should get involved in politics. Can anybody around this table in your lifetime, and I'm going to make it even easier, in the lifetime of yourself, your parents, and your grandparents, tell me one political party that has truly stood up for everybody equally and made a true change and difference? Just one party.
Anybody? Steve?
In our lifetime, I mean,
you can extend it right to.
What about in 1945 when the war was over and we had no NHS and we had no housing, and we all pulled together and we created the Labour Party and we created the welfare state and the NHS? It came out of nothing, more or less, and it was amazing, and we're still benefiting from it even now. We take it for granted, but it just wasn't there before. So there's an example.
Okay. I'm going to say the Labour Party in 1945.
But yeah, I mean, and that's kind of at the point I was making, that, like, yes, whatever that race, the report and formal investigation on race and council housing in Hackney took place in the 1980s or 70s. However, it's a continued fight, and yeah, that's for black people, but if Asian people didn't fight, if white working class people didn't fight for what they want, then we would not have what we have today, and it's a continued thing, you know, so.
Yeah. Can I just hang on a second, Lisa. I just want to put an invitation out. Come and get involved in this. Come and get involved in this conversation. We're talking about. Come and have us. What's that? It's going online. It's have a look at the website. But we're putting this on.
Don't be shy.
Come and see. So we've got Kieran, we've got Lydia, we've got Lisa, we've got Janet, we've got Steve, and we've got Helen and Ellen and Lynn. What's your name?
My name's Connor.
Welcome.
Connor. Yeah, Connor.
So at the moment we're talking about politicians and faith in politics. Half the table are saying, yeah, we've got to vote, we've got to get involved in politics. The other half is saying we're just backing people that are out for themselves. So that's where we are at the moment. I don't know if you've got a view on that, or do you want to just sit? Have you got any view on politics?
No.
At your school, are you active? You've got the badge that says excellence. Were you voted to be some kind of, are you a team leader or something in your class? Like, you know, what about in your school? Do you speak up?
No.
Okay. Anyway, let's spread this out. It's not just about Kana. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, they don't encourage you, if you've got your own opinion and you can do something in your community, they don't encourage you unless you are following exactly what they want you to do. So if you've got an idea for whatever, if you want to bring this to there, unless it's exactly what they said that you should be doing in that area, they won't back it. Or they're backing people that are actually ruining the community rather than actually making the community better.
Right.
And anybody else is trying to do something for the community, they will actually push them away, but still support the same people, who are robbing the community.
Right.
Straight.
Okay. How could they support the right people that are doing things for the community?
I mean, I suppose I agree with what you're saying. It doesn't fit, oftentimes there's certain things that's not going to fit the agenda of like the council, the government. But what I really love about social media is the fact that like now, if you have an idea, put it out there and you can easily gain a following, you can easily gain a support. And I mean, look at there's so many campaign groups, Latin Elephant, campaign groups in Tottenham, fighting against gentrification, and through social media they've gained a following. And as somebody mentioned earlier today, they've actually gone to the UN and they're winning their they've managed to they've got the UN to support their campaign. So, I mean, I just don't think it's as pessimistic.
Okay.
With that, because I follow some of those kind of things, and I stand for certain things, but I'm saying soon as you want backing from them, your community will support you, but as soon as you need the proper backing, because I've seen it with lots of stuff that's happening in the community.
Can you give us an example?
I've seen it with for instance, marches. I've seen it with trying to build community centres. There's places that around the corner from my house, like adventure playgrounds, that can't get the funds, and they're trying to shut down to build new buildings. So how are you helping the community if you're knocking down a place where the kids are meant to be playing and learning?
Okay, is that the one off of the old Kent Road?
No, it's an oval. So basically, basically, and they've done it so many of them. That's why there's a couple of them places. So places like youth clubs or adventure playgrounds are getting knocked down for buildings. So that's not helping.
Okay, so more support. Are we supporting these people?
I mean, I really appreciate what you're saying. I think it's right. It's constantly been taken away from us rather than given to us. But I do think that struggle is a hard struggle. It's never going to be easy. No one's ever going to go, oh wait, great, yeah, of course we're going to give you that. You've got to keep fighting and fighting. We all have to.
They do give people money. And I know that. I've seen them give so many people money.
But are they the people that have really fought super hard to get it?
Not really. They're the people that know somebody in here, so know someone in that, and they've been given it. And I know this for a fact. I do know this.
Well, I think
places are closing down.
Because we've had this discussion before, it will be places that are not going to truly make a major difference that sometimes gets the funding. So if it's because I don't get involved in politics, I can't speak too strongly on this, but I'm involved in the arts, and I know that if somebody wanted funding for something that wouldn't actually truly uplift anybody's mind, they'll get the funding. But when it comes to something that would influence young minds and make them more united, make them stronger, that tends to be the pattern in our experience.
So it's in a way less kind of dangerous, let's say, projects get the
things that are not going to truly be for the benefit of the majority.
All right.
Growth. It's usually something that's going to say, oh, I'm trodden down, rather than something that's going to build growth and hope.
Okay.
It's nothing for hope.
Anything on this side of the table? Steve, you've not said much.
I've just turned up. I'm trying to just soak up what's going on.
Yeah. Do you vote? Do you get involved in politics?
I do vote, yeah.
I mean, how important do you think it is?
To vote?
Yeah.
I think you can't complain if you don't vote. It's kind of down to that, really.
Okay, so if you don't vote, then you can't complain.
Well, you can complain, but I mean, surely the vehicle to try and have it's the only thing you can do, really, unless you're voting on the big scale, unless you actually get involved in more community-based things.
Kana, give us a final thought before you go. What do you think of this discussion?
About what?
Well, I mean, do you feel supported in what you do in the community? Do you do anything in the community?
Supported?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, do you think the voting age should be lowered to 16? How old are you?
I'm 15.
So, do you think that, would you like to be able to vote at 16?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Do you think people your age or slightly older than you know enough to be able to vote?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Right, am I done here?
Okay. We've got any facts to the table. What's your name?
My name is Pastor Ojimba Alex. Pastor Ojimba Alex.
Pastor Ojimba Ali.
Alex.
Alex. Can I call you Alex?
You can if you want, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We got Lisa, we got Lydia, we got Kieran, we got Lynn, we've got Ellen, Helen, and Steve, and Janet, and Mikey. When we're sort of talking about getting involved in politics, getting involved in community projects, is there a kind of agenda just to stop change from happening? That's what Lisa's saying. Yeah.
You know what? To be honest with you, I think it's a great topic and it's a great subject to get involved in. But if I'm to be honest, politics in this world, I'm talking about in England, I'm talking about in America, I'm talking about in Africa, I'm talking about in South America, all over the world. Politics has been going on before I was born.
Yeah.
And I'm saying politics has been going on before a lot of people on this panel have been born. But the issue there is politics really the answer to what human beings are going through in the world? Because if politics is the answer to what people are going through in the world, how come when one president leaves or one prime minister leaves, the issues of society are still there?
Okay.
So I just want to say that I'm a pastor myself, and I'm trying to say that there's even something that is better than politics in this world, and that is the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. That's what I preach, because he's our Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Even Jesus was political. Religion is political. Jesus was political. You can't escape it. It's just embedded. It's embedded.
Would Jesus?
Excuse me. You can't say Jesus was political because Jesus was not political. Jesus was directly sent from God. Moses is a man in the book of Exodus that God chose and said, "You are the one to lead the children of Israel." Their bondages. So what I'm trying to say,
politics, not a political thing?
I'm coming. Politics is not going to lead us to bondages. Politics is for the elite, and there's people in society that are underprivileged. So society is balanced, and that's down to politics.
Okay, so politics is not the answer. Jesus is the answer. Do we need somebody to lead us out of our bondage appointed by God?
I believe politics is our bondage.
What's that?
I believe politics is our bondage, to tell the truth.
Sorry, I'm going to be devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Politics isn't the answer. Unfortunately, neither is religion at the moment, because religion is heavily involved with politics. There is no religion without politics, unfortunately. So it's to me it's still all the same. Religion, politics. It's.
Let me just. I'm going to come to you in a second, but I just want to spread this out to other people. Religion and politics, should they mix? Do they mix? Is religion inherently political? Is politics related to religion?
When the went to Africa back in the day to enslave the Africans and bring them to other countries to work on slave plantations to make money, that was political. So religion stems in politics, and it's just as simple as that. It's
okay, let me just go to Helen, have you got the
question I want to ask you, I'm going to leave this question with the panel because I don't know what it's on. The question I want to ask is, I want you to think about something. Every 4 years, somebody else gets nominated to become the Prime Minister. It's a party versus a party, maybe it's Conservative, maybe it's a Democrat, or whatever it is. But my question is here, whoever comes into power, how come there's still poverty in the society? That's my question. So politics is not the answer here.
But how would you frame it to make it, for it to work, to allow religion to create equality?
What I'm saying is when God created the world, God created the world, and He put man in the world, and He said man live freely. You don't impress God politically. Everything is done by God, so we should go back to God and not look at human beings in different order. Because the politicians got problems themselves also.
So what are you envisaging, a world with no politics? How would it work?
I'm envisaging a world here without politics, because in the days of Moses, in the Old Testament, it wasn't really a political thing. God nominated people; they were chosen to do a job for Him. There's an agenda behind politics.
I mean, Alex, I'm still struggling to see how the country is actually going to be run just purely with religion.
It can, because you know there was a time in England. There was a time in England where England wasn't really run by politicians. The elite of England at the time were the priests and the pastors of the time. There's a place, a part of London called Temple. The place called Temple is supposed to be in Bannon and Aldwych. If you go, you see that the elite of society at that time were priests. People used to wake up in the morning and come and listen to the priests.
Okay, so the priests could run the society.
I think Jesus was an early socialist, and if he was alive now, he'd be the leader of the Labour Party because he was all about helping the poor, and he stopped the trading in the temple as well. He threw over the money dealers in the temple and said, "Stop doing this in my house, in my father's house." And he helped the beggar on the street, and he talked to the prostitutes. I think he's a perfect socialist.
Jesus is socialist.
Does have a lot of churches. And one great thing about churches is that it brings a lot of different communities together. And it's really, going through, when I've been to churches, I realised, wow, there's such a great sense of community here, a great sense of support. When people have issues, mental health issues, all sorts of different issues, you can go to church and really get a lot of help from that. So I think it's an important thing to have in a society.
I still don't think religion and politics should mix. It is two different agendas.
Okay, so you don't think they necessarily mix. Come get involved in this thing.
I think I bring it back a little bit. Let's talk about Southwark. What is good about Southwark? All these changes that are happening. You look at the skyline. What do you see? How do you feel about that? It's like modernisation.
Unfortunately, I feel resentful about modernisation, gentrification, whatever word you want to put to it. It just seems like that big glass ceiling, like you can live within the cracks of it, but you actually not really a part of it. You're not fully welcome. Taking it, if you wanted to go further out from Southwark, you wanted to go down to the Princeton area, that's already happening. Hackney, you can from Hackney. So the face of London is practically changing to this type of. You can be amongst it, but you will never ever actually be a part of it. Is the type of general feeling that people of my age have.
What can we do to make people feel more part of those changes? What I really like about Brixton, I think what we've done here is that in the Brixton market area, there's like a mixture of new eateries as well as old eateries. And I know that there's a few opportunities given to independent shops, pop-up shops and stuff like that. And I know a couple of years ago they were trying to do something to this market here. Perhaps they could give opportunities to local people with great ideas to have their store on the market or occupy some of the empty buildings in anything across the shopping centre. I think that would be very, very
giving more opportunities to local businesses.
The thing is, it's a good thing to have that. At the same time, there's people that actually had market stores there and businesses there. What they're doing is putting up the rent, so the people that was there before are getting pushed out. So at the end of the day, it's fine to have all these different things happening and opportunities, but it's still aimed at a certain type of people. People's got a certain amount of money, a certain amount of education, and then it's for everybody. Because I know for a fact, those people I know, this is have been run out. And here, this really changes for 5 years or longer than that. And it's not to say it's not going to derelict. It's not going to happen. It changes. The house over here. So all they have to do, or they're going to probably say things that divides them, or makes a certain people makes it.
A question I wanted to ask about all the pop-up shops is the whole community, the face of the community has changed so much that you now have to think, if I'm going to make a business, it has to serve that community. If I was to start making something that match the population, then I'm not going to have a business. So if you, I've got 2 points and they're kind of conflicting. Millennials, so anybody born 2 years after me, there's this whole mentality that you should have a business for yourself. This is how it's done, you can set up like this, blah, blah, blah. People who market for that consumes the content all day long. So I've now decided, I've been in education for 15 years, I'm actually going to go back, re-educate myself and set up as a freelancer. However, there are a lot of people who've never been given that thought that you can. I was taught you're going to grow up and work for somebody. This whole idea of you can have your own business and do this and that, it didn't exist in times before me.
And I think if far as what Southwark could do with let's say develop this sort of thing, it's going to be knocked down, it's going to be rebuilt, and they're talking about providing a market which would be about supporting local businesses or all the pop-up thing. Generally when that's done, it turns out that it's not really for the local people at all. It's for Adidas, it's for everyone else, and it's very whitewashed really. And I think that's the important thing, that Southwark should make sure that it's real, that it's not a load of bollocks basically.
I think it's great everyone's talking about local businesses and local people and all that stuff. If they are building something inside, I just want to make sure they do it right. There's one or two, say, blocks that have gone up, which are fine, and then there's other ones that have just been thrown up to make money, which are absolutely hideous. They're actually going to build it, and they aren't going to build it. Make sure it's decent, but suddenly doing really tall things that are really ugly. All you're doing is just like reliving what happened in the 60s and 70s, like trying to learn from the mistakes and actually make that place a better place.
Okay, so you think actually the quality of your music is
literally, as soon as I open my eyes, every day there's a building pop up. Like, where's that come from? I can't see my sky properly anymore. All I see is cranes and these red lights all the time.
Do you agree with this point that Steve's making? Too quick.
They get thrown up, yeah. But I think there should be more houses, I think there should be some businesses, I think there should be more opportunities for our youth rather than houses. How many more houses when there's rooms lit down the street?
And that's another thing, there's so much homelessness, but there's so many buildings going up, so who's living in these buildings?
Let me just bring in some of the people who haven't said anything, like Janet and Helen haven't said anything for a while. You've said a lot, I know, you've been here all day. What were you going to say? Kira.
Sorry. And this is another thing. I think people get fed up. There's a process to follow. He's coming down, it's definite. It's not nothing set in stone, nothing's definite. You talked earlier about fighting. When we evacuate away, just to say people think
so you think, it's important to say the decision hasn't been made?
There's a process. The planning application is obviously to demolish the centre, that's the plan. But the plans can change. People are fighting, and they're fighting, as you say, to fight. So we need to have hope.
Let me just get a final thought from Lydia and Lisa.
What do they think about it?
It should stay if they revive it. Look, they've been keeping like this at the ghost town for how long? Revive it with something proper, not like we're going to Brixton, or in other people, but they change something of substance that's going to help out the community. Good shops that cost so much money to buy something.
I do believe this shopping centre itself needs a facelift. I do believe that, and I think the facelift should keep in mind the original residents and have something to give to the new residents, but keep in mind the local people, the foundation people, the business places.
You can't have a city or an area brand new. If the heart where it was to come here in the first place is taken out.
This is the heart. What I wanted to say here is, what you're talking about here is a transformation of the shopping centre, but the way I look at it is, if they're going to transform it for the better, it's a good thing, but there's no point transforming it and bringing in more expensive shops if the locals can't afford the new shops. So, I mean, because it's happened before and the local, that are on low income, they struggled in the past.
Have you got a place in mind where that's happening?
Have I got a place in mind where it's at? Well, a lot of my friends used to live in Brixton and they changed the shops there and they moved them to outside London or whatever. So I mean, whatever the government wants to do, they should carry on with it. But what I'm saying is just have the locals in mind and make sure they can afford the shops in mind. Yeah, please.
I got a second. No, I'll come to you in a second because I think you had a point, Helen. Is it still there?
I think it was someone to do.
We're talking about the shopping centre, the skyline, this idea about whether it's actually going to get changed or whether it's actually decisions being made.
It is very dangerous. I will say it in public, I will say it on TV. Okay. But through political thing, they may arrest me. But it doesn't.
Arrest you
for saying the truth. Keep away from Brexit.
Okay, so you're saying they arrest you for saying no, we can't do Brexit.
Like this year, I went to a few events in Southwark. I went to the Plaza Latina Festival. I don't know if you heard about that. Latina Festival run, that showcase Latin culture and stuff. And that was really great. And I think the idea that you said about bringing some kind of food festival into the castle, maybe that could happen. Maybe the Plaza Latina could happen in here, or there could be like Colombian food festival in here. I think that would be quite a good thing.
So in a way, connect it more with other stuff going on.
Exactly. Because there's so much. There's a lot of positive things happening in Southwark, and a lot of communities who are thriving. So and also I really love the box part thing that they've got on board. And I think that place really promotes a lot of independent businesses and startups and stuff like that. So I think more things like that.
I remember yes, before the last question to bring us back, someone was raising the point about churches and religion, but I think that then your question and the religion question will probably be solved in the same answer, because I think that if we are to be able to cope with the changes that happen around us, we probably need all hands on board, and I think that churches are an excellent position there to help people by the networks that they have, by the venues that they have, the resources that they have. So I think it's a great idea. Bring the churches in, bring everyone in, and let's get on board.
So the churches need to be involved.
Help the community, to help the people to go forward.
Okay. We all need to, in a way, contribute. I think it's churches. We talk about churches. No, what Helen's saying is the churches need to be involved in this redevelopment, reshaping the community, in concert with everybody else.
Church is corrupt. Mosque is corrupt. So avoid all this.
You don't think they should be involved in the community?
Politics, religion, I don't involve.
Okay.
When it comes to church and mosque and politics, I don't involve.
Okay. You know what, there's been, over the years, there's been so much crime in Africa and in Europe and in America, and obviously the police get involved because the police want to eradicate the crime. But to be honest with you, I just want to say that the pastors within our community and our society, they go around, they preach the word of God, and they reach out to the youth that commit these crimes, and when they preach to them and they bring them to the church in there, the praise line in England has actually gone down. The church has played a major part. I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, that's the truth.
Let me tell you. Whatever he has said so far, who crippled me in my life is a pastor.
Right. So you don't have a lot of faith in the church?
I avoid the church.
Okay. All right.
What's the lady behind your name?
Janet.
Janet, I want to apologise for being so kind of like, oh, it's coming down, because I didn't really quite like that. And I haven't necessarily understood the campaign here, but I do know one part of it is that it's about, if it does happen, making sure that the businesses that are here get provided for. And for me, I do believe that this shopping centre has come to the end of its physical life in terms of a building. And I think something will have to be rebuilt here because it's crumbling, because it's looked like this for so long, and I think it's beyond refurbishment. And I work in the buildings and industry, so I kind of understand buildings quite well. And
you need to be ashamed of yourself.
well, that's another thing altogether.
You need to be ashamed of yourself to promote Corbyn in the one hand and the Labour Party, and then support regeneration and development.
I just want to say that I think that regeneration has to include people, and in the past it hasn't. I know, but I'm saying now it does. Now it does. It has to.
Look, we all know that regeneration needs to happen. We all know that. We're not stupid about that. We fought for it to improve the area, bring wealth into the area, economy and everything else. It's the way it's being done. It's the way it's being done. And that is what we do.
I think
A pastor asked me to give my daughter to the king for school sacrifice to get money in the church.
Okay. I mean, we've got two issues now going on. It's kind of up to you as a table where.
The table, in fact, there are already put your hand up to be involved in your TRA. Has anyone else in the group been involved in building a community project or a facility? What campaigns have you been
Have people been involved in campaigns? Are you involved in your tenants association or anything like that? Listen on the table. It makes it look more easy and popular.
Somebody like me. There is no way I can involve in campaign.
Would you like to be involved in something like that?
I just want to, even as I live here, I have to go all home, central London, to get food for the homeless like me. That's all I want to be in the name of human well-being.
Yeah. If things were different, do you think you would be involved in those? If you weren't having to do that, would you get involved in any kind of like tenants association or president?
No, it's not possible because myself, I was asked if I'm pregnant. So there's no need to go further.
So I guess that's a no. Anyone else involved in any community?
It's like people are sort of saying some quite negative things. Can we hear some stuff like, how can we do things better? How can someone do things better for you?
Right.
Because it's like you just said, we need regeneration, of course we need it, but how can we do it better? Because that's a really important question. Thanks.
I actually was recently went onto the Southwark website and tried to go and look at the planning permission of the shopping centre, because and I was specifically trying to find out how tall some of the towns are, because I was really horrified by the new development that's actually gone up that isn't finished yet, with the ugly yellow balconies in the corner near the castle centre. It's so hideous, right? A few others have gone up there, actually quite nice. That thing is so hideous and so tall. When you're crossing over Waterloo Bridge, it's the first ugly thing you see. It's shameful if like something that was built in the 60s. If they're not aware of
get the idea you don't like that particular building.
But anyway, I wanted to go somewhere so I could write about, I was concerned about the height of some of these things. And I couldn't find,
There's no interface for you.
There's various planning things you can see, but there's so many plans for different things that I couldn't even find. I couldn't find.
So you wanted to really comment on the aesthetic of the area and what's happening to it, and there should be a bit more control over.
It's more the height of some of those towns going on I'm worried about.
Skyline, heritage, protection,
well, even if you just voice your opinion about it, because I'm all for the regeneration of the area. What I'm really worried about repeat mistakes from the brutalist period of the 60s, when they actually threw high-rise.
Maybe you don't actually get together with you there because of public challenge to between the corners of the planning application.
Okay, I mean, but is it a bit tricky to find these things and to be able to comment on them or give your voice?
I tried.
Yeah, okay. Do other people agree with that? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to speak up on behalf of Southwark. When we done the housing commission, it's like the housing commission suggested that we demolish houses to make better quality houses, and the people said no, build more, and Southwark's made a pledge to build 11,000 new homes, as you know, I'm sure. So it's like we are building those homes, and we are listening, and we are doing. It's not spinning around.
How many of you knocked down and how many of you knocked down? So they're not actually new homes, they're replacement homes. This is what we keep saying. You want to just sell this good, and they're not additional.
No, they are. No, they're not additional.
Okay.
How many on the house really not in that? How much social housing? How much of the A-gate? Have they replaced all those homes? How many of the A-gate?
We are.
Okay, I mean, I think it's a point that you've made, Janet. Is it replacement homes? Is it additional homes? Let's hear the response from someone.
I think it's there. I do know that some of the homes that we are building are additional homes, and it's like I don't know enough about AJ. But I do know that we are building additional homes.
So, and that's in response to listening to what people say. Is that, as you were saying, that's in response to listening to Southwark residents say they want to.
In response to what Southwark residents said, the council basically listened to what the residents said and have started to build new homes with a place to build 11,000 new homes. So it's like I don't know how many built now, do you know? Something of those 11,000. No, 11,000 by nearing the 20.
Right.
Can you just, no, it was supposed to be increasing, so within the next 2 years, we're 1,500, and of the 1,500, several of those are in planning applications as well. Just about half that are underway.
Are they going to be truly affordable? What does that mean for Southwark?
It's the social housing.
So the kind of rents around 150 a week, that not more than that really? Okay, that's good to see.
How many planning applications for houses Southwark with no affordable ground or living? What's the legislation on it affordable?
I didn't know. But I mean, does anyone want to answer? Does anyone know that question?
I don't know the response to that.
Yeah.
My answer was that I don't know.
Well, okay.
Some applications they're passed without any affordable houses, despite the fact that they have a policy of 35% for each home. So how do you justify that then?
Okay, here's a final thought, Kieran, before you go.
I think it's really good that Southwark are doing this consultation. I can see they're taking notes, and I think we've just got to keep hammering on the doors to make sure that they do the best thing. It's never going to be enough, but we've just got to try our best.
Okay.
Maybe it seems to me that like Southwark Council are doing a lot for the community, but it's not being maybe a lot of residents going around. So maybe there could be an advertising campaign, like on some of the billboards. Maybe if you don't already, you can like put some of these things. Southwark Council building 11,000 affordable housing for residents.
I mean, a lot of the things that we've been talking about in the last 10-15 minutes have been about communication in both ways, the communication to the council, but also the communication from the council. and it seems like it's so complicated and complex, it's some questions. Is there any way that communication could actually be done better? Because it feels like, for example, Steve, you were saying that you could really interact with how planning works or how could the communication be better and how? Yeah? Have you got any suggestions?
Maybe the way for example, planning applications or things like that are put out. I was actually just trying to, obviously there's quite a few sites that have been developed here, and I was trying to find a specific one, and I couldn't. I kept finding plans for other ones, like I wasn't concerned about it. And there were so many, it's almost like, there's so many, they always almost want you to get lost, so you end up giving up.
Yeah, but at the same time, it is the mayor of London who should be suppressed by the people. So that the mayor will confront the government for the well-being of the people.
So it's the mayor that could actually be supporting some of these ideas. What I'm going to do actually is...
The mayor is the problem.
Okay. What I'm going to do, this is Talkaoke, we are still going, but we're going to have a change of personnel. Just because I'm talked out now, but Ellen's going to jump in the middle. Are you ready, Ellen? Helen, if I can just ask you to move to either to the left or to the right. I'm going to go over. If you can just, we're just going to, let's keep this conversation going. It's an important conversation. I'm just going to just quickly jump out, sorry. And let me give you this one. Come on, have a seat. Come and get involved in this. This is Talkaoke free-form talk show. We talk about whatever you want to talk about at the moment.
It looks like you've got something
Is the communication with Southwark? Could it be better? How could it be better?
That's a good question. The communication system. There's actually a university across the road called London College of Communication. University across the road with London College of Communication. I don't know, is there any students around? Maybe we get some advice from them about how to communicate. How to communicate, you know, with different people. Let me get around to names actually. What's your name? Steve.
Mikey.
And come and join us. We're talking about communication. Like, do you know who your local MP is? Do you know who your local youth MP is? Yeah, it looks like you might. So yeah, I mean, in what ways do you think that maybe council can communicate with its residents better?
Well, I mean, in the middle, obviously, I've got to be neutral, but I do feel strong now that I'm on the outside. I can say I can be less neutral. I do sort of feel it's not just this council. I think what you've got, and I think what a lot of people, why should they understand it? They can't get to grips with the kind of how the council actually works. I mean, some people take the time to look into it. Most people just go the council, and it's just so hard to navigate. And it's so, and it is. I do think in a way, we need people that actually, say for example someone like Steve, that wants to find out to say something. How is he supposed to interact? It's almost impossible. I mean, it's the same with me. How am I supposed to say what I think about stuff? Because it's not really an interface for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. So, what did you do then? Did you ever contact the council about your... You gave up.
What I was trying to do was actually raise consent to try and find out what the height of some of the towers were. When I couldn't find that out, I couldn't raise any concerns about it.
Gosh, that's such a shame. Come and join us. Do you care about a lot of the tower blocks that's going up? What do you think about the designs of that new tower block over there? The new tower that you...
Can we sit down? Come on.
Have you seen that new tower block that's been built over there? Would you like to live in that block over there? Yeah, that's a shower.
I've got to try and fit Steve's work out. Come with and go on one.
When you come out interesting time, because you guys think communication. Have you ever just talked about it like that? Maybe there's a miscommunication between the council not communicating so well with its residents, and the residents not being able to communicate well. Not being able to communicate so well with the council. So yeah, I was saying actually, maybe we do need to get some advice from some of the students from the university. Do you know any questions about the LCC? So we've got two people around the table. So, I mean, what do you think would be a good way for like council activities? Let's get final thoughts from you before you go.
I think the idea of visualise is really good. You can't put people that say come here and make sure the towels you go to allow them really go to go. I don't understand how to pull through.
Well, you know,
Well, it's just like it's dying anyway. It's just like get on with it. The thing is, it's just like you've got to do something about it. I think you do. From an architectural point of view, I think you do. I think it's a mess.
So what is it? So basically, it's like when people have mentioned that there's a problem with communication, I didn't want to run away before we had ideas of what it's saying, because you're at university and communication. So I like to think that they can help us to look at ways we can communicate with the public better.
I don't know what is the Southwark.
Where are you from? Are you from, where are you from?
I'm from China.
You're from China? Okay, so maybe you're coming from how China sort of I don't know, but you said you have 2 points about, some of the what are you from? Yeah, I was born in the also you're born in the area. So do you feel, as a society, like, what ways can democracy communicate?
Well, if we start off, first of all, we're digital. Yeah. So we need to make sure we are able to use your resources, especially for going digital. I know that's cheese. Actually, what we're doing, I don't know what you know, is actually moving our universities from over there to over here. So, in order for them, the reason why the census is not down is so that our building can become bigger, because our actual university is actually the population is increasing. And in terms of the council, like corresponding to people, I have come to the council right now, and we are speaking to, and I find that they do a lot of things behind the scenes, and a lot of us are not aware of what's going on behind the scenes. And for those that actually are aware, they don't have to voice their opinions and things to other people.
What kind of things are going on behind the scenes?
So obviously you've got voting, labour, and everything changed. That means you've got stock change, but exchange change, all these kind of things going on. this is the kind of things that not everyone knows about. Many people are actually important the atmosphere of.
I mean, that's quite interesting, that point that you made, that LCC is going to be moving to this location, and that's the reason why there's a fight to sort of get it knocked down. I just want to carry on point, actually. I mean, are you from Southwark?
Yeah, I basically work with the council.
Oh, really? So you're looking for that reassurance? 10 years time. So you need that reassurance from your
I don't see any fundamentals. No one else is doing it. There are no new GPs, there are no new hospitals. So how's that going to affect everyone else?
So you're saying, like, it's so great to be building a new town, however, you're up for it. But we also need to incorporate, like, health, GPs, and all these facilities in the area. Are you up for gentrification?
Gentrification. It's gentrifying the area.
What does that mean?
Yeah, break it down. So I suppose that's what you were saying about the fact that you need that reassurance from
There's no reinsurance.
So basically looking for that reassurance, basically.
I think what they're doing now is making it so that people in the market can keep up to date. So people like myself, I'm not going to be able to keep up with. Sorry, I'm using old terms, sorry. So basically, someone like myself is like from a lower class background, isn't going to be able to keep up with the upper class background.
Okay, so you're saying there's going to be a bigger divide between rich and poor.
100%. It's the way the world is going right now.
We benefit, like, this whole area's changed. I mean, when I went to 65 years ago, I had to go underground to sort of get across the road. So, I mean, what do you think about do you think there's any positive change? Like, the changes that's happened, do you think it's benefited you in a positive way?
I think, for me, I've known there's a positive for a long time. I think the crime rate around here has dropped a lot. I think it has. So like, you don't get a lot of, like, I know if you move around on the track, there's a lot more gang and it's less of that now. People are more willing to, like, and see it as someone important.
Actually, what she was saying about the fact that growing up, like, there was no with the change, there's a difference.
But actually, I don't think that's what you're saying as well. Because they have hospitals. Since they rebuilt Elephant Castle, there's been a number of accidents happening outside. Really? And there isn't enough people to support that cause of construction and working and doing accidents. People on buses, pedestrians, people crossing the road, most of them younger, actually.
So maybe more signage and stuff like that.
People are very across the road from the other side, so I haven't seen it. I've been tempted to do it myself.
The thing is, we have people are actually from what they're really sorry. So what was
I remember people used to jump over that fence. People used to jump over that
So you might start
I just want to say, driving, I'm not from this area, but when I come here, it's incredibly confusing because it used to be a roundabout, and that's what I remember, and then suddenly you've got traffic going in two directions, and I can understand how accidents happen where they're a bit confused about which direction they're supposed to be going and how it all works. I mean, I don't know if that's like a teething problem, but you don't want people to get seriously injured readjusting to a new scheme. But I just want to say, I mean, this is more about TfL. That, okay, they don't want people to drive, people need to drive, but they're not actually helping people transition from driving to other forms of transport. And there's plenty of ways to do that by making the roads safer to walk along, by making public transport more accessible, by making it actually cheaper and more affordable. And there's so many things I think that I'm not happy with. This is more about our city. And I think Elephant Castles are a reflection of how the traffic is changing, so to speak. We just need to change battery there. Well done, good.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting because we spoke about transitional periods earlier, when you were saying that there needs to be a transitional period, and when this Elephant Castle does get locked down, there needs to be a transition, there needs to be time given to allow people to adapt to the change. And just like advocacy, or with people with a TfL not wanting to drive as well, they need to teach them how to transition from using cars. I don't know from you, come from China. What do you think about how the streets are over here? Do you think, what was the impressions when you came to London about how the streets are?
For my opinion, and I think here is so crowded, and the traffic jam, more stressful, and more strict and more strict. And
so there's more streets.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's very congested at the same time. No, that's really interesting. Oh, let's get a final thought from yourself before you leave us.
I wasn't leaving to go away permanently, but I would like to say that yes, it is becoming a bit more crowded, isn't it? I think that the way I look at it, I do see that Southwark is probably trying to put in a bit of balance with green space interconnected. I have been working on the consultation team down the Old Kent Road, where they're trying to redesign the plan there. Redesign the plan bearing in mind that the Bakerloo line will probably extend down there and so on. And they've held lots and lots of meetings all along the Old Kent Road for people to come to. And people have suggested all sorts of things like little bits of Green Park connecting up the Surrey Canal and Burgess Park to the north and all of that. And I think that would help as well if you try to create more space, because there are more people coming into London, and where are they going to go? Right? But you also have to balance the need for more housing and more intense, more dense housing with a bit of green space for people, and that's important.
So there needs to be more green spaces as well. You have more people, but you also need green spaces to balance out. You know what, do you think you have benefited from some of the changes that's happened in Southwark since growing up?
To be honest, I can't really say, I can't make my choice about that right now. But like I said at the beginning, I'm up for regeneration, but not social cleansing. I'm not up for social cleansing, but we just need that fundamentals, more schools, more GPs, more hospitals. And to make it a bit more easier for the people that are in the lower class to actually gain the properties that are going up, the tower blocks and stuff. On that note, I would just like to say thank you guys, and I'm off. Thank you.
I want to go back to what he says. I'm actually with what he said. I'm not for like anti-social cleansing. I think what the government and the council need to do is implement social into it. what they're changing their things for. Because at the end of the day, if you're making a difference for the people that can afford it, what happens to the people that are walking around it? You don't really think about your environment and the people and the needs. And it tends to a lot of wants instead of needs. And it's not right because we're overpopulating more on the wants rather than the needs. So for me, I'm with him on that no social cleansing thing, because we need humanity to remain as it is. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, how do you envision sort of Southwark, your borough, to sort of look like? I mean, Lambeth, right, or this area. How do you envision it to sort of like be in 5 years' time?
I definitely see it becoming a very high corporate place. I definitely see it as people myself, if you haven't got a good job, not being able to afford being in the area or coming into the area. I do see a social awareness though. I do see that people are going to see the area for more popular area than what it is. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like Brixton, and how Brixton's kind of changed, like how it used to be if you kind of knew how it was, and now how it got really, you know, being gentrified, you know, now it's changed and everyone, it's the now upcoming scene, but for the people that used to live there, it's not, do you know what I mean? It's not, it's not right.
I mean, my sort of issue, sorry, what's your name? With what Vicky's saying is that it's, I just think that there is, like, because you're bringing more wealth into the area, why does that mean that the people that already live there can't benefit from that and can't actually live side by side? Why do we have to have it either for the posh people or you know, can't it be for everybody? And surely.
Why can't you have a Pret a Manger and a sundial cafe? You know, why can't they sort of coexist? We've got a new face around the table. What's your name?
Amal.
We got
Vicky.
Janet.
Mikey.
John.
Bob.
I'm Elam, and this is Talkaoke. This is a pop-up talk show, and wow, today we have spoken about so many things, from gentrification to how we can make Southwark a better place. I mean, are you from Southwark? Were you born here?
Yes.
I mean, what things do you like about this Southwark?
It's quiet.
It's quiet.
And there are a lot of schools.
There are a lot of schools here. So you had a lot of choice when like choosing what school to go to. What about after school? Do you think you have a lot of choice about what college and university you have to go to?
Well, not really, because there are a few universities, but not that many.
Right. I know there's two across the road. I mean, so yeah, I mean, on that point of like, why can't,
going back to what Mikey said, you know, this is the whole thing, like regeneration is supposed to be to improve the quality of life of people in the area. You know, not, but at the moment it's not. It's degeneration, we usually say. But so what I think what's happened is people have, like, politicians or whoever, you know, the council as well, have lost the whole definition of what regeneration is, and we need to get back to the basics of what regeneration is.
What is the basics of regeneration?
Well, it's improving the quality of life for the people in the area. I mean, they're we were sort of about 6 urban deprived area in the country or in London. So we did need growth and economy. We did need growth into the area. That's where they but at the moment they're regenerating every area. They're regenerating posh areas even. So you know, it's all just about become development, profit, money, and not people. Not people, and not about improving the quality of life for you know. I'm going back to what Mikey said earlier when he said, you know, the councillors he spoke to said they want to improve the quality of life. I don't get that at all. You know, I know he's only repeating what he's been told, so he's only repeating a lie. But you know, we don't get that. How is kicking out these businesses? How is it going to improve their quality of life? How is it? Some of these businesses have been
they've been there for decades.
Been there for years. Built up their business. You know, built up their business, and they're now going to be relocated, not even in the area.
Yeah, I mean, you had a point that you wanted to make in response to Janet there.
Yeah, so I was basically saying that even though these people are taking over, I think it's just down to the way we think. It all stems down to the way we think and how we behave. And if you go back to how we think and behave back in the 19th century to how we think and behave now, the difference is that everyone is more advanced. It's just that we're advancing. But it's about knowledge. It's like when you pass one knowledge down, you have to make sure that it's accessible for everyone. And I feel like that's what most of these corporate societies are doing. They're not making the knowledge and the principles accessible to everyone.
So it's not equal distribution.
There's not. It's like, I give an example, like left brain, right brain thinking. Most people focus on the left brain or focus on the right brain. But what happened is that we both have left brain, right brain. Everyone has a left and right brain. You don't need to focus on the left or the right. You need to focus on using both of them and implementing both sides. And I feel like that's what the society needs to do within our own environment, within our cultures, within everything that we do. We need to start implementing both sides.
And how do you think we could like implement? We could make use of both sides of our brains.
I think basically it comes down to thinking again, like I said, and cognition, like how you think. Understanding how you think and where you play a part. I was saying to my friend the other day, I don't know if this is relevant, but I'm going to say it. If you're not making a difference, then you're not living.
That's really interesting.
You know what I mean?
So what way do you feel that you're making a difference?
So
in Southwark or just in life in general?
My making a difference is sharing this kind of information that I've just said on the mic. Sorry, it's this kind of thing I do is like share the information that I know of. It's like making people become aware, sharing awareness, and that's what I do. I love sharing awareness and making sure that everyone else is aware. And I think that's just the way we have to do it,
Oh, what time is it now, is it? Oh, right, okay. Unfortunately, it's time for final thoughts. So I'm just going to get into you about, I wanted to find out about that badge, but maybe another time. Yeah, another time. We're going to go around the tables and grab some final thoughts from everyone about anything we've heard today. What's your final thought? Let's start with you.
Well, going back to not just what you said, Vicky, but what a lot of the people have said. I do think the knowledge is growing and the understanding is growing, and I think if there's one thing to take out today, it's about how we actually make that, foster that. Like for example, Lydia was talking about. Younger people now see themselves as starting their own business, but they need support to do that. They need a space to do that. But we need to, I think, we need to, in a way, it's a different way of providing facilities for people where we sort of find out what they want to do and try and help them go in that direction.
What's your final thought?
Yeah. I think I'd like to ask the council officers final thoughts. That I want to know their thoughts actually, because although they want to hear from us, I think a lot of it but we would like to hear from them as well, not just the officers here, but the council in general. But I think the theme today has been, and my thought, that people will sort of, whatever's going to happen, whatever has to happen, that people remember it's about people and not about profit and money, and remember the community and the people. And I'm going back to my original, Southwark is a social landlord, so they have to have a social conscience, and that social conscience should go with them in everything, regeneration, housing, everything they do. So that's my thought.
I second what she just said. I second that. I agree with that completely, and I really think that we should be shifting in that way. And I think one message that I really want to really share with the world is try to make a difference. And when you are making a difference, share your difference and don't keep it to yourself. Do you know what I mean? So other people can learn and develop from that. Sharing is caring.
Any final thoughts about any? I know you weren't here for very long, but anything you could.
I think that adding to what you said, not enough young people are getting they have a lot of ambition, but then they don't actually, because as they grow older they lose interest in a certain ambition. I have, and I think it's starting to affect their peers, and which means that they end up doing things like working in a chip shop, or they don't actually.
So you're saying that lack of ambition can have influence on their friends, so then helps to demotivate them.
Yeah, and then also there's a lot of competition out there, so they start to lose belief and doubt themselves. So I think that there could be more, instead of building things that are irrelevant, like useless doors or useless buildings that are just gonna cause problems for people, they should start to look at things that are relevant, that will help society, that will help young people in schools, that will help young people achieve what they want to achieve.
Yeah, what do you want? What's your ambition? You don't know yet?
Journalism.
Interesting. Yeah. Basic journalism. And what's your final thoughts about anything you've heard today?
I think everybody have different, similar thoughts about this main point, and for my opinion, I don't care this today object, so I don't know how to say it. Sorry.
Eventually you'll get there.
Okay.
Any final thoughts?
Hi, yeah, I'd just like to say I've been going all around Southwark the last couple of weeks having conversations like this. It's been fascinating. What I've heard here today, and I suppose, is that we all want less crime, good education services, so schools, health, and the council could do things about that. But what's really important, and what I'm definitely hearing from you, is we mustn't forget about local communities, that sense of community cohesion, the people who are here. It's important to make sure that they are represented, heard, and their communities are maintained. Thank you.
Any final thoughts from you?
I think final thoughts from me would be, I think it's been a pleasure that lots of people from sort of different age groups, etc., have stopped today and given their opinion, given their time. There's obviously a lot of passion, and people love this community, and I think that that's very important. And I would say, yeah, it's really great that people are giving their time and they're interested in their communities. Yeah.
So basically, my last thing is don't take the heart out of the community. Literally, don't take the heart out of the community.
Yeah, so I mean, no, that passion is, you know what, I think we are finished. Sorry about that. But the conversation does continue outside of the table. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Great.
And just, we're also going to be at Surrey Quays Shopping Centre on the 2nd of December.